Welcome into Defeating the Curse, OG style. You got LP, you got FP. It's a two-man show. Combine Eve. The Caps suck. The Wizards suck. There is no baseball. So we're here to talk about Commanders football, as much as that hurts to say. We got the Combine tomorrow. Malik Willis is apparently cross-eyed. We don't know who we want at quarterback. We don't know if we're going to get Mitch Trubisky. We don't know if we want Jameis Winston. Apparently, we called Kansas City about Patrick Mahomes. It's a free-for-all. Ron Rivera out here trying to do whatever he needs to do to bring in a quarterback and not get fired. That's where we are right now. LP, welcome back to the show. It's been 400 years since you've been on. How's it going, man?
It's been exactly since October, the last time I opened up Skype. So I think this was the last time I podcasted with UFP. It's been a ride. We've had so much Washington news come out in the past, 4 months. Dan may lose the team. The team got the Super Bowl numbers wrong. I mean, it's been a disaster. But this is my favorite topic of all time. You know I love talking QBs. And
yeah, you do. I mean, it's a non-stop text message combo between us, all hours of the day, every day, psyching ourselves
before
out.
we talk about like QBs for 2022, can we just talk about fuck Bruce Allen? Like seriously. I mean, this wouldn't even be a conversation if we had Kirk Cousins, would it be?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, if we had, again, it's the same old story, right? If we had Kirk, if we kept Trent, if we got the guys that we got after all of that with Terry and the defense and everything, who knows what this team could be? Could we be Cincinnati Bengals and Kirk could have kind of went the trajectory of Burrow if he was just given the reins from the get-go and just kind of allowed to go? Who knows? Could we be a Green Bay Packers where you're always in the NFC Championship game appears, and our conversations would all be, can we get to the show, right? You don't know, but we do know Bruce set us back a decade.
Yeah, I mean, I think about this all the time. I'm like, Stafford was excellent last year, but was he Tom Brady? Was he Patrick Mahomes? No, he was a really, really good quarterback, but he wasn't top 5 in the league. I mean, he wasn't doing anything that was, ridiculous. And
I mean, lower rung elite, I think, is where he is.
Yeah, absolutely. But the point is he that much better than Kirk Cousins?
I mean, they played in the same division for how long, right? And
yeah, I mean, he had a team completely around him, right? And I sent you this graphic yesterday about basically the last 20 Super Bowls or whatever, and how much cap space the quarterback has taken on those teams. And I think the graphic was missing last year, and Stafford, I'm sure he was pretty up there, but a lot of this, like the QB matters, but also the rest of the team and how good the players around the QB really matters.
Right.
And if you have that, right, which we were supposed to have a good defense, which we didn't, but we don't know how much of that is attributed to not having an offense that can move the ball. We were supposed to have weapons, right, in Terry McLaurin, AG, Logan Thomas, etc. Our offensive line did pretty good on a pretty bad team. So the point is, like, how much further along would we be with Kirk Cousins at the quarterback position for all these years, right? Where the team could have focused on getting more playmakers. The team could have focused on, finding that middle linebacker.
I love you, man, but I mean, come on, it's classic LP conversation. You can't let go of Kirk. He's gone. He's gone. Is there a chance we could bring him back? Yes, there is actually a chance we could bring him back. The same chance that the Wizards can bring John Wall back. I would love to see both of those guys back in DC. But I mean, we got to move forward, right? And the conversation now, kind of going on what you were saying, is, are we a QB away a la Matthew Stafford, or are we Matthew Stafford via the Lions, where let's say you get the guy, all of a sudden the pieces around him can't elevate the team, right? I think for the most part, all of us agree we are in fact a QB away. After seeing what the Bengals did with Joe Burrow, I think we can all agree that this team
Well, they also have
is
Jamar Chase. I mean, Jamar Chase is
right. So
like
Jamar
he's better
Chase is
than
very,
Terry.
he's better, but what I'm saying is if you look at the Bengals team and you look at the Washington Commanders, I would say position for position, there's not that much of a difference, right? Our O-line is much better than their O-line. Their receivers outside of Chase, I think our receivers outside of Terry are better. You know what I'm saying? So defense for defense, they got playmakers. We have playmakers. I mean,
I
the
just think a quarterback will elevate the whole team, right? The
100%,
defense is going to play
100%.
better. They're not going to be winded all the time. They're not going to be degraded on the sideline. They're not going to be fighting each other. All those things go away with a stable quarterback.
Right. So the question now is,
How do
do
you
we
find that stable
do
quarterback?
we go against what Ron has been saying this whole time about mortgaging draft picks to go out and get a Russell Wilson or equal level elite free agent, or do you get a lower tier Mitch Trubisky kind of something you don't want to really talk about, Marcus Mariota level QB, and then draft your guy and hope that your QB room with mid-level free agent, rookie, and Heineke can get the job done. I
Let's
personally
be
think
real here. Let's be real. If Mitch Trubisky plays weeks 1 through 3 and we're 0-3, what are the fans going to be clamoring for?
it
What
depends on how the team looks. It depends on how the team looks. If Mitch
it,
Trubisky
it
plays
we're
and you're 0-3,
we're
but
not
the
going to look any
offense is
better than
moving the
last year.
ball, no. But if the offense is moving the ball and it's the defense letting you lose games, nobody's complaining about
If
Mitch.
if the offense is moving the ball, then the defense is rested and the rest of the team is playing better. It all starts with the quarterback. And to me, a mid-level quarterback or a low-level quarterback, I'll call Mitch Trubisky a low-level quarterback because he's not a passer. Like he's got some skill, but if you look at his stats, I mean, he's averaging like what 175 yards a game. He's
Yeah, but I
not.
mean,
He's not a. He's not. He's not a Scott Turner quarterback who wants to stretch the field, who wants to run misdirection and all those things. Like
but you're
he
you're
can run.
basing that off of a Nagy Bears offense, right? So again, this kind of goes back to last season where like Sam Darnold all of a sudden was kind of like the darling of free agency where everyone's like, oh, he was a product of the Jets. He's better than he is. He comes into the Panthers. All of a sudden, the Panthers are kind of putting together some wins in the beginning of the season before things fall apart. And everyone's like, oh, wow, maybe Sam Darnold isn't trash. Maybe it really was the Jets, and you kind of have that happening now with Mitch Trubisky, and that kind of is because of how weak the QB draft is this year. That you have the media looking at who's the next free agent darling, and I think right now Mitch Trubisky is the leader of that pack, and I can't blame them, right? I mean 29 and
29 and
21
21.
right on the Bears with I mean a fantastic defense. I mean he had like the number one defense in the year in 2018 or whatever, like fantastic defense, but he was in a much harder division than the NFC East, be up in the NFC North. I mean he was playing against Kirk, he was playing against the Packers, he was getting wins on a trash offense with a trash coach, and he kind of he didn't. I don't think he disappointed the way like a Daniel Jones disappointed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I don't think he's going to elevate the team enough to. He may elevate the team 1 or 2 games, but he's not going to elevate the team enough to be an actual contender in the NFC. There's this is an offense heavy league. You got to have someone who's going to sling the ball. So if I'm going to go and get a mid-tier quarterback, give me someone who I can at least sling the ball in the form of like a younger Ryan Fitzpatrick or someone like that.
I can't believe you just
Who,
said that. Come on, man.
who's gonna
There's
who's
no
gonna throw
there's
the
no
ball for 300?
gunslingers out there. Jameis Winston is your only gunslinger, and he got LASIK, and he did well for the Saints, and then he broke his knee, and then we saw a training video of him where he looks like he's running around on 2 chopsticks. Like that's who you want? You want a Jameis Winston with LASIK, a la
No, I don't.
Carlos
Let,
Rodgers?
let's
Now
just
he
go
can see
through
where he's throwing the ball.
let's just go through the list and see like would you take them if you were the GM of the Commanders or would you not? Aaron Rodgers, of course. I think
Yes.
everyone's gonna say yes.
Yeah, Aaron
But
Rodgers,
he's not
yes.
coming here.
Russell
The
Wilson,
report
yes.
from Diane
Both of
Emersini.
them are no.
I would mortgage my future for a Russell Wilson, a Deshaun Watson. Like, go big or go home.
I
Give
agree.
me a strikeout on Russell Wilson, and I'll be happier than a Mitch Trubisky and a Malik Williams or whatever Malik Willis draft. Like,
I agree. I
go
want
big
us
or
to
go home.
aim.
Like,
I want us to
it's
aim
freaking
and
time.
go for it.
We cannot draft. Like, take away Jamin Davis. Like, I take that pick away because we're not going to do anything with it, right? The number 11 pick. And you can kind of go through like the previous years. Like, when was the last time we had an impact player in the first round? Like, Chase Young, great, but even in his rookie year, was he really like a game changer? No.
Like a Micah Parsons level? No. But I mean, that comes with the position, right? Like a linebacker is going to be more flashy than an edge rusher. I mean,
I'm sure if you looked at Von Miller's rookie year in his second year, he probably looked way better than.
the truth is, I'm going to nip this argument in the bud right now. Our first round picks outside of Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne and Chase and Sweat, and I mean, who knows what's happening with Jamin? He could very well, if he goes to outside linebacker next year and play to his strengths, he could very well be an amazing player. You can't really call that a bust yet.
I'm saying
Yet.
I'm for mortgaging 3 to 4 picks to get a Deshaun Watson, to get a Russell
100%
Wilson,
agree.
to
100%
get Aaron
agree.
Rodgers.
But the reason I'm gonna say that is I showed you the WAR stats about the Commanders, right? Wins above replacement. It shows that we essentially are really strong in drafting third round down. The players that we bring in third round down, like the meat of the team, if your starter goes out and the next guy that comes in plays, you're not losing games because of that, right? You're maintaining.
Is that the case, or is it that our starters and our second string is not that far apart from each other? No.
Look at it.
Take
this
an
way.
example of
Look at it
this last year. John Bostic, starter. Jamin Davis, second string. Like, is the gap between John Bostic and Jamin Davis that much different? Or Cole Holcomb or David Mayo?
Well, that's the thing. So Cole Holcomb and Mayo, that's the whole point, right? If Cole Holcomb went out and Mayo came in, you're not losing that much of a step. But look at it differently, right? Look at it. If Jonathan Allen goes out and then you have Ioannidis and Payne, you still have an elite front line, right? What I'm saying is we are strong. I'm agreeing with you. We are strong at drafting third round and down. And with that knowledge, go out there and offer 4 first round picks, 3 1s and a 2, whatever you need to do at the top of the draft, give those away to bring in a proven free agent a la Russell Wilson, right? I'm 100% on that. And I think Ron is starting to see that, where it's like, all right, look, we built the draft. We built through the draft. We have a good meat part of the team, right? Our backups aren't terrible. We don't absolutely get destroyed when our starters are out, right? And I mean, even last year, like that Cowboys game and all that trash, a lot of that was COVID, right? But you still are in it at the end of each one of Ron's seasons. Somehow, some way, you're a game out, right? You're fighting for a wild card. And I think Ron is starting to see, all right, now we are truly, I think he was saying we were a QB away. I think now he truly believes we're a QB away because of kind of the production he's seeing from the nobodies on the team.
Yeah, the question is going to be, how do you get to that QB? Like, how do you convince a Russell Wilson to come here? How do you convince a Deshaun Watson and the NFL that he's innocent and that he's ready to play?
I think the bigger question is, outside of the elite targets that we want, the bigger question, and this is going to be the more realistic question, is, are any of the mid-tier, low-tier free agents that much better than Heineke? That's the real question.
I'm going to say no. Well, let's go through the list. Through the list. Aaron Rodgers, obviously.
Come on, we said no elites. Right. Go middle tier. Go below Derek Carr. Below Derek Carr. Derek Carr, we're going to elevate him up.
Okay, Jimmy Garoppolo.
Is he better or worse? I would say he's better, but not
He's
worth
better.
the money he's going to demand. Right?
Yeah, he's better, but he's not. He's marginally better.
Marginally better for way more money.
Marcus
So
Mariota.
scratch it. Not
No.
marginally better.
Mitch Trubisky.
Potentially even.
Maybe a little bit better, but no. He's not as no.
But he's also an unrestricted free agent. So what if you make a move on a Mitch, it costs you nothing.
That's true. Who else is on the list?
Jameis Winston.
Baker Mayfield. You'd have to give up some picks.
I would say Baker might have that same swag.
Baker's
that
a wild
Heinicke
card,
has.
man.
He might have that same swag that Heinicke has, where it's like that passion to win drives the team. But he's sloppy. He's reckless. He could make the same mistakes that Heinicke can make.
He absolutely can make the same mistakes that Heinicke make. He's a better passer. He's a better thrower. He's a better game manager.
Stronger arm.
He's got a stronger arm. I'm not a Baker fan. I would be much happier with him in a Commander's uniform than a lot of the other guys. But
again,
he's someone I would take a swing at.
If you look at Baker,
I would be satisfied with a swing at Baker than like some of the other guys, like a Garoppolo or a Trubisky or a Mariota.
I don't know. If you look at Baker and Mitch, I would call them even.
No.
Yeah.
Baker can throw the ball, dude.
Mitch has an arm.
I want to look up the stats, but what's the max yards Mitch has ever thrown in the NFL?
What passing yards mean nothing. Kirk Cousins has passing yards, and that means nothing. It's all garbage time.
I would take Kirk over all of them.
I mean, yeah, 100%. But I mean, let's be honest. That's money that we're not going to spend.
Well, I don't think he's leaving. I mean, he basically got his QB coach from Washington as his head coach. I think that was planned. I think there was intention there. So I don't think he's going to be. I don't think he's going to leave in Minnesota.
I would say.
Who else is on the list?
I mean, Jameis Winston. I guess Darnold.
Jameis, but Jameis is also coming off an injury, and Jameis is out of shape. Always.
But I mean, the Saints did look good. The Saints did look good when he was healthy and playing well for him.
Who else is out there? Dude, Sam Darnold looks
Andy
good,
Dalton.
Man.
Pass on Andy Dalton. Pass on Jacoby Brissett. Pass on Tyrod Taylor. I don't know.
No,
kind of it.
You know what?
Nick Foles.
You know
Minshew.
What? Give me
pass on all of those guys.
Give me top tier. When I'm talking top tier, I'm talking Rodgers, Wilson, Watson, Derek Carr, and then give me Baker or who else is out there? That's about it. And then if not one of those guys, just take a chance and give me Pickett or I'm not a believer in Malik Willis just because he went to Liberty.
You played against nobodies.
He has potential. I mean, Lamar Jackson went to Louisville. They're a basketball school. They're not a football school. He turned out to be pretty good, but I don't know if I'm ready for that. So I would rather take a Pickett or what's the other guy's name? Pickett's the Pitt guy. What? There's three of them, right? Pickett, Willis, and some other donk, but
you got.
I don't know, dude. This is the worst year to need a QB in the draft. That's for sure.
Matt Corral, that's the other guy.
Matt Corral.
I mean, look, it is the worst year to draft a guy, and I personally, I'm high on Pickett. I will say, I'm going to be furious if we go into the season with a QB room of Heinicke and rookie. I'm not going to like it. I need something.
If it's Pickett, else. If it's Corral, or if it's Willis, I'm okay with it.
No, I still need more.
But here's the thing. I think you're going to strike out. I think Ron's going to strike out in free agency. He's going to swing big, but the key is like the players got to want to come here, right? Like Russell Wilson's got to waive his no trade clause. Deshaun
Russell
Watson's
already
got
said on the Today Show or whatever that he liked it in the Northwest. He's not coming. Pete Carroll came out and said they're not gonna get rid of him. I mean, they're doing the same
money
show.
talks.
They're doing
Picks talk.
the same pony show thing where they say they want him and then they end the interview with, but we're listening to all phone calls.
Yeah, I think he's available. But again, the question is, does he want to come to Washington D.C.? I don't know. Like he's from Richmond.
Let's put it this way, right? Dan Snyder removed from the equation. You have the ability to come to the nation's capital, be the new face of a brand new team, right? The first Commanders
That's what
QB.
Ron's gonna sell. Yeah.
Right. You have Terry, which everybody loves Terry. You have Curtis Samuel, which somehow, some way after the Super Bowl, the conversation started going, who's the next closest person to Deebo Samuel? Everyone says Curtis. Interesting. If he's healthy, maybe. It's possible that he can have that same kind of...
He's fragile.
Exactly. But does he have that potential? Can Russell bring that potential out of him? Very possible. Right? And then you have AG, solid running back year, right? He was one of the top NFC guys, but fumble issues and kind of you could upgrade.
He's not a game breaker. He's not a game breaker.
You could upgrade.
You could upgrade, but they won't upgrade there.
Solid O-line. I think we have a better O-line than what Seattle put in front of Russell the towards the end there. And the defense, who knows? I mean, could we go back to being a potential top 5 projected defense? Yes. Could we also be bottom 30? Yes.
Yeah.
The number but nobody knows.
Defense is weird because I could see them making very little changes outside of like a middle linebacker, true middle linebacker, and somehow taking a step forward. Like,
yeah, well, I mean, a third year in a system, you would assume it's going to be.
The players were better than. Like the players are too good to be this bad.
And if you look at the end of the season, the defense was playing better outside of that Cowboys game. Again, that was kind of COVID issues.
Yeah. I mean, COVID really effed us.
Yeah, it did.
I mean, there's no way around it, right? Like, there's no like you can say that the team sucked and stuff like that, and that's partially true.
I would say the bigger obstacle that Ron has is comparing our teams to other teams looking for quarterbacks. Are we a more desirable location than a Pittsburgh Steelers? Are we a more desirable location than a New Orleans Saints? Are we more desirable than now the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Are we more desirable than the Carolina Panthers, who most likely will just keep spending money on expensive free agent quarterbacks? Are we more desirable than those places? Are we more desirable than possibly the Oakland Raiders? Or the Houston Texans?
I think there's a buzz. I think Ron is respected around the league. I think players will respect Ron. I think we will sacrifice more in picks, in draft, in salary cap than a lot of the other teams because we're desperate. Pittsburgh, they went to the playoffs. Like, they're not as desperate as we are. They're not going to give up as much as we would be willing to give up.
Realize that their QB room is Mason Rudolph and Dwayne Haskins, so they're desperate. I think our QB room right now is better than the Steelers' QB room because of Heineke.
No, because Dwayne is such a negative that doesn't matter what QBs you have, you're better than that QB room.
I think if you're a Russell Wilson or equivalent and you're looking around at the teams, Washington's up there. Washington really is up there as one of the better, and that's including Dan Snyder, as one of the better teams to go to. Which is insane.
I think Denver's up there.
Denver is up there, but there's also, I mean, that all depends on Aaron Rodgers. And I can truly see all the
Who's Denver
fluff.
coach now?
I don't know.
Didn't they just get rid of Fangio?
They did.
Who the hell's their coach?
I have no idea. No idea.
Who is the Denver Broncos coach?
Nate Hackett?
Is he really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, come on. I think. I think players would rather play for Ron than a lot of these nub coaches.
It's true. It's true.
Ron can convince somebody, right? Like, this is your chance to make a legacy in the world, in the NFL. You know,
It's a major market. It's a big political stage. It's a big media market. It's against.
I think he can overshadow some of the Dan bullshit that goes around in the organization. Like, you know, him saying Dan's not involved anymore. Like, it's just a matter of time until Dan's out. Come play for me. I'm in charge here. I got you.
I think the biggest plus for the Commanders is we're in the NFC East, right? You have not a hard competition to get through, right? The Giants aren't going to be anything next year.
Well, Dallas is pretty good, but
Hurts is trash.
But outside of that,
Dallas is good, but they might get blown up, right? Mike McCarthy's not good. Amari Cooper might leave. Zeke might leave. I mean, great.
Well, Tony Pollard's better than Zeke, but
yeah, he is. But would I take a Zeke over AG? Yeah, 100%.
I don't know, dude.
I would take
Zeke
Saquon.
has fallen off. Both of them have fallen off fast.
I think it's easy to fall off when you're kind of sick of your environment.
Yeah.
Why should I kill myself as a running back and try 100% if I know that this team isn't going to go anywhere? If I'm Saquon, why am I going to risk my body again for a Daniel Jones offense?
Yeah.
I mean, you could have Saquon have a Todd Gurley resurgence when he went to the Rams. Everyone wrote off Gurley before he went to the Rams.
Wait, where was Gurley before the Rams?
Sorry, no, he was drafted by the Rams, but after his injury, that's what I meant.
Yeah, I don't follow that, but whatever. Point is, you have a quarterback, you can make a run. You don't have a quarterback, you got no chance. And I think Ron's going to swing big. I'm super fearful of Ron striking out. Because
if
of all
Ron
the bullshit.
strikes out, he gets fired after the season.
I don't think so. Dan's not going to make a change because, you know what? You make a change, you fire somebody right now, like, pressure's on Dan.
If Ron strikes out with either a free agent signing or whichever QB we draft doesn't play as well as the other QBs drafted, he gets fired end of this year.
Here's the problem. We should have drafted a quarterback last year.
Absolutely.
We should have drafted a quarterback the year before. We should have drafted a quarterback almost every year because we didn't have one. So you take your chance, and you know what? You miss.
And that's
guess
kind
what?
of the
Doesn't
knock.
matter.
That's kind of the knock on Ron is you should always be drafting a QB. Every draft should have a QB coming onto your team. Even if you have the guy, draft a QB. Like, you should never be at the point where your QB room
the problem is you don't know if a QB is good or not until they start playing.
Yeah, true, but
because like Patrick Mahomes came from what, like Texas? He didn't come from Texas. He came from whatever that school is in Lubbock, Texas, whatever.
Right. Josh Allen came from nowhere.
Josh Herbert had horrible draft grades.
Wait. I just remembered the worst timeline that we're probably going to end up on.
Which is?
Carson Wentz.
I like Carson Wentz.
No, man, no. You can't tell me Carson Wentz over Mitch Trubisky. You cannot tell me that.
I will tell you Carson Wentz over Mitch Trubisky every day of the week.
Why?
Times
Why?
2.
What has Carson Wentz done except get injured, watch Nick Foles take his team to the Super Bowl, except go to the Colts, have the number one running back in the league? He can escape the
pocket. He's a Houdini. He can escape the pocket.
He had an amazing defense. He had the best running back in the league. he had weapons galore, and he lost to the Jaguars to not make the playoffs. When the year before, Phillip Rivers, who's 9,000 years old, has zero sperm left in his body because he has 4,000 kids, got the team to the playoffs.
I don't know, man. He's a Houdini, and I like that. And I love
he's a Houdini where he makes everyone think that he's more amazing than he is, but at the end of the day, he's Bobo. He's an unvaccinated, and apparently now there's rumors coming out that he's like a diva in the locker room or something, and like the owner doesn't like him or something. I don't know.
They're definitely moving on from Carson.
100%. But I don't want Carson Wentz. You can't tell me Carson Wentz over Baker Mayfield, Mitch Trubisky, or even Jameis Winston. You can't. I do not want Carson Wentz. He had two broken ankles at the same time. Escape the pocket.
He is super fragile. And with our training staff / DEA rated staff, I don't see him
if our
being
trainer
healthy
comes back and gives him steroids, maybe he works.
I doubt it. Didn't work for any of the other players.
I'm high on Mitch Trubisky.
So here's the question. Outside of the top tier quarterbacks, which we discussed, I list 3 top tier: Rodgers, Wilson, Watson. Second tier: Carr, Baker,
Kirk,
but he's not. He's not on the list.
I could see Kirk going to Pittsburgh.
Okay, outside of those 6, would you draft a quarterback, or would you sign a Trubisky?
I want
Garoppolo?
Both. Give me low mid tier and a draft pick, because outside of
when
Jimmy
you say
G,
draft pick, are you talking about a high draft pick or
outside of Jimmy G, you can get Mitch Trubisky or Jameis Winston or somebody for a 2 or a 2 and a 3, and still have your 1 to get Malik or to get Coral or to get Pickett. So I want that. I would prefer low mid tier free agent plus first round draft pick dedicated to a QB. I think that's the best time.
But we'll see on pro days, because none of these quarterbacks are throwing at the combine. We'll see at pro days, whether stock rises or not, but historical trends say that QBs rise.
Right. And me personally, from everything that I've read, I'm high on Pickett because of all the intangibles that all the other QBs have. He's the one by and far that they say he has the knowledge. He's the one that's NFL ready to read defenses, make adjustments. Is he the one who's
playing in a pro style offense, or is that Corral? I think it's Pickett.
I'm pretty sure it's Pickett.
Yeah, I think it's Pickett.
And like the biggest knock on Pickett is what? Small hands? That's what they're saying? That means nothing. Jamar Chase said he couldn't catch the ball because it didn't have a white stripe. Look how that turned out.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm in for Pickett. I'm in for Corral.
I'm in for any of those guys.
Too.
Yeah, I'm in for any of them, but I also
would you trade up for them?
I don't think you have to.
I don't know.
I don't think you have to, because I wouldn't put any of them higher than the other person. And I don't think there's 3 teams ahead of us that are going to go draft a QB. So you just take whoever's there.
It all depends on free agency, right? Like if Rodgers goes to Denver, they're not going to draft a quarterback. If Wilson stays in Seattle, they're not going to draft a quarterback. I don't know if they're ahead of us or not, but
I don't think they are.
What about a Matt Ryan?
That's interesting. It depends on the money.
Say he's mid-range.
If he's affordable, I can see you getting a good year. I would equate it to the Colts getting Phillip Rivers. Perfect stopgap until next year's draft or next year's free agent market.
Yeah. I think he's just lost
I would say
I would still take him.
It would be
Okay,
if it's
would you take like a Baker or a Derek Carr over Matt Ryan?
Derek Carr 100%. Baker, again, it depends on who's more affordable. Is Baker more affordable than Matt Ryan? Is Matt Ryan more affordable? I would take the better financial decision at that point.
Yeah.
But then again,
All
outside of
all
one
signs are
Kyle
pointing to
Shanahan,
most QBs staying where they are. Like,
yeah,
I could see Russell staying in Seattle. I could see Baker staying in
I could see
Cleveland.
Jimmy G staying. Yeah,
No, Jimmy G? No, there's no way he's staying. But Jimmy G's not a good quarterback. He's Alex Smith 2.0. Like, I mean, I guess he's not a bad quarterback, but he wasn't a bad quarterback. But he's not going to elevate. He's not going to elevate your team.
When you make it to the NFC Championship game 2 out of 5 years, it doesn't matter
without
who
Debo
you have around you. It doesn't matter who you have around you. You're still a quarterback that got you there. It doesn't matter.
He's a game manager.
If he really was trash, you're not. It doesn't. Debo's not good. If he really is trash, you don't make it deep into the playoffs 2 out of the 5 years.
But the crazy thing is that he's not throwing to Debo 20 yards down the field. He's throwing to Debo behind the line of scrimmage. He's handing the ball off to Debo.
So, but we have people that can do that.
I would trade a first round pick for Debo.
And make him our QB?
Yeah. I mean, he ran the ball, he threw the ball, he ran routes.
I'll tell you what, this is my dream scenario. My dream scenario is you get a low mid-tier QB, Baker, Mitch Trubisky, something like that. You draft a rookie QB in the first. And then you spend the other money that you now have because you didn't give it all to Russell Wilson or somebody. And you go out and you get Allen Robinson from the Bears, or you try your hand one more time at Amari Cooper if he wants to leave the Cowboys, or you try your hand at some other, maybe DK Metcalf, because there's talks that he doesn't want to stay on the Seahawks. Now that you got a low mid-tier free agent and you've drafted a QB and you spend that money on a stud wide receiver,
but
there's no way
already.
You can be excited.
That's supposed to be Curtis Samuel.
Okay, but you still have. What I'm saying is you still have Curtis.
You need another one. You need more.
You need another one. Yeah. I mean, if you give me healthy Curtis Samuel, Terry McLaurin, and DK Metcalf, or Amari Cooper, with a Mitch Trubisky or a Baker Mayfield, you're not excited? You're not ecstatic come September? Of course you are.
Not for a Mitch. For a Baker, I am.
You know what? Your homework after this show is to watch Mitch Trubisky highlight film. Because you also have to realize who knows what he learned being in Buffalo. Who knows how he got coached up, what he learned sitting with Josh Allen in that QB room.
Yeah. I mean, but what about all the people who sat behind Brady for so many years?
Jimmy G.
I mean, there was a bunch of other ones. Ryan Mallett. Like, you're not gonna go out and get him.
But you're also sitting behind Tom Brady in a QB room where Bill Belichick doesn't care about the guy behind Tom Brady. Heineke sat with Tom Brady for 5 days. Like,
true.
I would say.
What about someone like a Tua?
No, don't give me Tua. Also, the half brother from Miami said he's high on Tua. So.
The what?
The half brother. Their coach. Sorry, don't cancel me.
What about a team? What about like a Ryan Tannehill who may become available if Tennessee gets Rodgers, which I could see happening?
I would 100% take Tannehill. 100%. I would put Tannehill right below Derek Carr.
Shouldn't we have taken him over RG3?
I mean,
just called it a day.
If you're Mike Shanahan, you do.
I mean, if you keep looking at like revisionist history, how many F-ups did we have as an organization? Like, not drafting Josh Herbert, not
Justin Herbert, but nobody was high on Justin Herbert. So get that out of your thought process. Nobody. Justin Herbert excelling would be the equivalent of Pickett excelling. Nobody in the world was like, this guy's going to be a stud. Nobody was saying that before he became a stud.
Yeah. So again, that brings up to my point. You got to draft a quarterback every year.
Right.
Like you got to, if you don't have the guy, you got to swing every year.
Okay,
and we didn't
with
swing.
that being said, if you're not going to get Russell Wilson, you're not going to get him. Look, this is the Washington Commanders. This is the team that bungled the name after 2 years of preparation. This is the team that bungled the crest so bad that they tried to make it Roman numerals. The NFL gave a giant middle finger to us, and they were like, you know what? Let's just do what the fans say and put the correct dates. This is a team that's so bad that we are trying to build a stadium with a moat in Sterling, Virginia. A stadium with a moat in Sterling, Virginia.
Hey, the Potomac River actually goes through Sterling.
Great. So does 28, and that's filled with construction. If 28 and Old Ox and whatever can't handle a regular rush hour Monday, what are you going to do on a Thursday night football game or a Monday night football game? For us, it's great. We could ride our bikes there. But for everyone else, do you really think if you use Hoodbridge or if you use Dumfries, do you really think that you're going to get Maryland fans and Richmond fans and Northern Virginia fans all coming to that stadium? No, you're just going to have $1 billion stadium with other fans that flew in and complained about their Uber traffic from Reagan down 95. That's it. That's all you get.
I mean, you should have to pay a premium to go down 95 because that's shit. I mean, you've got a big chance of either a 4-hour delay or getting into an accident.
Imagine driving down 95 and instead of seeing that stupid Potomac Mills Mall sign, you see that ugly Washington Commanders W just high up like an upside down McDonald's sign, just like, hey, red and yellow, come to us. We're not McDonald's.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many disasters with this team.
Exactly. And so with that, you're not getting Russell. I'm sorry. And with that, you're not bringing in potential sexual assault Deshaun Watson. The media would have a field day if Snyder brings in.
Are you talking about Pro Football Talk and Washington Post?
Anybody would have a field day if you bring in the QB that rapes massage therapists to the team that rapes cheerleaders.
Allegedly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know if I feel any better about this team after having this conversation.
I feel good about the team if you do what I said. If you get me low mid-tier free agent, keep Heineke, draft your rookie, and then spend the rest of your cap on your linebacker. Restructure Landon Collins.
So you're in it for a 3 to 5 year plan because that mid-tier quarterback is going to get you 7 to 8 wins. You're going to be picking number 15 next year.
Let's put it this way. Ryan Tannehill, before he went to the Titans, was a mid-tier free agent. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you never know. You never know that.
I'm good with a Baker, Derek Carr. I'd even take a Jimmy G over Mitch Trubisky. I
don't know why you
Mitch
say
Trubisky, that. He's just. I gotta pull up his stats.
I don't know why you say that.
You're killing me with.
I'm
Mitch Trubisky
so high on Trubisky. 29 and 21 under a Nagy offense. I think he's mobile enough. I think he's good. I mean, I don't think he's that bad.
There was also the rumors that we were after Mitch Trubisky at the trade deadline. So we know Ron likes him.
Yeah.
All right, his career 64% completion percentage.
That's
pretty
not
low.
Terrible. That's not terrible.
Not horrible. Okay. Let's see. In 2017, he had 7 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. That sucks. 2018, he had a pretty good year. 24 and 12. 2019, 17 and 10. 2020, 16 and 8.
let's put it this way. Mitch Trubisky got drafted as high as he got because the Bears organization is stupid, because Matt Nagy is stupid, and they reached for a player that they shouldn't have reached for. Okay? If Mitch Trubisky got drafted where he should have been drafted, probably mid-second round, everybody would say, all right, you are a solid QB. You are a Kirk Cousins potential QB, right? We didn't spend a lot on you. We didn't waste a high draft pick on you, and you came in here. You completed 70%.
He was one overall. He was one.
Exactly.
He was first.
That's his knock. His knock is that he was drafted first overall, but that's because the Bears are stupid. That's Dwayne Haskins, Daniel Jones high draft pick when it shouldn't have been. If Daniel Jones got drafted in the 4th, the Giants don't look like a disgrace.
Why is his nickname Mr. Biscuit?
I don't know. I call him Bitch Trubisky. That's what I call him.
I don't think he's that good, man.
He's not a 1 overall good. He's exactly what he is right now. He would be a cheap plug for a system where he has more high side than low side that costs you nothing. He did decent in 2 systems with the Bears under Matt Nagy. You were high on Sam Darnold. How are you not high on Mitch Trubisky?
Because Sam Darnold's got a rocket of an arm. Sam Darnold can throw the ball
to the ghosts.
He can throw the biscuit.
He can throw the ball to the ghosts.
He's a little cuckoo, but he can throw.
I'm just saying, for how little it would cost you to get him and how much more you can address if you do get him while also drafting a QB, I don't see the downside. Even with look, let's say you go the Baker route. He might cost you money. He's outspoken in the media. But he gives you a chance. The DC media will chew him alive because he's an idiot behind the mic. He's an idiot behind the mic. If he wasn't white and he came out and said what he said and had the cockiness that he had, he'd get chewed up. It's true. It's true. I'm sorry. Like, he's an idiot. And I guarantee you, if you bring in Baker Mayfield and you go 0-4 and we see 400 State Farm commercials or whatever Allstate commercials with Baker Mayfield protecting the gulag, aka FedEx Field, we'd be furious. We'd be furious that we were 0-4 and saw Baker Mayfield doing commercials.
We got furious. A swing and a miss at Baker over a swing and a miss at Mitch.
We got furious at Chase Young for being Defensive Rookie of the Year and seeing him do Mercedes commercials and then missing training camp. He was Defensive Rookie of the Year. We still didn't want to see him do commercials.
It wouldn't have mattered if he showed up and played like he did his rookie year, game 1.
But what's to tell you that Baker's going to come in and play amazing football? What if Baker comes in, all of a sudden he struggles in the offense, all of a sudden Terry's not getting his 1,000-yard receiving, which he can do with anybody apparently, and Terry leaves us because Baker's an asshole, and then you get an OBJ situation where OBJ goes to the Rams, clearly hasn't lost a step, did great with Matthew Stafford. Outside of being injury prone and missing the second half of the Super Bowl, he went and got his ring, and he contributed to the Rams getting that ring. It's very possible you bring in a Baker, and he blows up this team. He blows up the chemistry because Baker's a diva.
You got to think about it. But
Baker had.
Also, I mean,
look at what he had.
This is Terry's last year before
Pause. Baker Mayfield had easily the best running attack in the league for the last 3 years. He had OBJ,
and 2 stars wide receivers,
and Landry, and a significantly better defense than the Washington.
And a better tight end.
And what have they done?
He had a lot of divas on his team. I'm not defending him.
He's the diva of the team.
He could be. I'm not defending him. I just think he's a better quarterback than Mitch.
I don't think he is, and I think he costs you more.
So you think Mitch is the next Ryan Tannehill?
I think it's very possible he is, and I think there's almost no downside to Mitch. There is a much more higher downside to Baker.
In that you have to trade.
and that you have to trade. You probably have to pay, and I don't think he is a Ron team guy. And I think he blows up the chemistry.
All right, let's end the show on this. Do you have confidence that Ron's going to make the right decision?
No.
I do. I think Ron is a leader of men. I think, like,